Handling legal matters is stressful. So, let the law offices of Frank Bruno Jr. provide you with the insightful counsel you deserve. The law offices of Frank Bruno Jr. has successfully handled thousands of cases for 25 plus years. They focus on elder law and estate planning, but are equipped to navigate you through all stages of family law and divorce to real estate law and probate. The law offices of Frank Bruno. Call 718-418-5000 or visit them at frankbrunolaw.com. That's frankbrunolaw.com. Frank Bruno. He's your numero uno.
Do you want to be part of something bigger? At Siemens, we use AI to transform the everyday. Our engineering solutions drive innovation and change. We're leading in technology and building a sustainable future. Join Siemens and make an impact to transform the everyday. Apply now and be part of something extraordinary. Visit siemens.co.in/careers.
I have to get to Nicole Malliotakis right here, one of my favorite people in politics, a great congresswoman out of Staten Island and Brooklyn, who yesterday hosted Jim Jordan. Nicole, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. Great to be with you.
Great to have you, too. So you invited me to this big lunch yesterday, and I screwed up. Danielle's not here. She's in Florida with Gabriel. She's always wanted to keep me on my toes, and I forgot. I'm not going to lie to you. I completely forgot. I missed it. I love you. I love Jim Jordan. But tell me how the lunch went.
Yeah, apparently you were hanging out in your boxers till around noon yesterday, so you couldn't make my event.
That's true.
But
That's
it's
true.
Okay. You look, like Jim Jordan is fantastic, as you know, and it was great to have him on Staten Island. It was his first time on Staten Island. The crowd was nuts for him. We raised more money in this one breakfast than than half of what my opponent raised the entire campaign. So it was really a tremendous success. And more importantly, we laid out the vision. If Republicans take control, right? If we get to actually fire Chuck Schumer, if we get to put President Trump back in the White House, we talked about how great things would be again, because quite frankly, all the misery that people are experiencing right now, from high gas prices to their utility bills skyrocketing to food costs going out of control, so many seniors struggling to get by on their Social Security checks. You know, all of this will be reversed because President Trump will come in and once again lay out, a plan for economic prosperity to make America affordable again, to revamp our domestic energy production. These guys, by executive order, have issued so many regulations and mandates on the energy industry, basically crushing our traditional energy sources, which are reliable and affordable. That's why people are paying so much all across the country for everything from food to utilities. And then on top of it, having a secure border, which is what the people of New York City would really like right now because they see how chaotic this mass illegal immigration via 60 executive orders, again, by this administration that totally undid our border and allowed murderers, rapists. And look, the guy last week, 23 murders he's wanted for. He's a serial killer in his home country of Peru, and he was caught right here in New York. And this is somebody, by the way, was let in. He was caught at the border and released, but because he was forced to be released by this administration.
Yeah, I actually saw Jim Jordan before he was with you yesterday, Nicole. He was on Fox News early in the studios. Brian Kilmeade and Ainsley were in. They use their starting team now on Sundays. And he was talking mostly about that, about the border and how, the border is a sieve and all these cities and towns across the United States are really getting hammered. Almost every state now is a border state. I had Carrie Lake on this show last week. Arizona, that's a complete mess with the cartels and the illegals. I mean, there are some states, Texas, that are really in trouble. And that's what Jim Jordan was talking about yesterday on Fox News, even before he saw you.
Well, the biggest farce out there is that the Democrat Party actually cares about women. Because how many women have been raped or murdered, right? You go from Jocelyn Nagari, a 12-year-old in Texas, Laken Riley, Georgia, women raped in New York. There were 3 just in the last 2 weeks, all by illegal immigrants. And the Democrats have absolutely nothing to say about it, nor do they want to change their policies to actually deport people who are committing crimes in our country. And it's outrageous. And the other big farce is that the Democrat Party is actually for immigration and for immigrants, because what's happening right now is the people who have come here waited a long time. They've played by the rules. They've done everything right. They're getting pushed to the ends of the line because they're prioritizing the people who paid the drug cartels to come in. They're getting court dates first, and that is outrageous. That, to me, sounds very anti-immigrant. Doesn't that sound anti-immigrant to you?
Well, it certainly does, but that's a Democrat party. You know, they start their big week today, and you and I, of course, shared a great experience together with all of our buddies in Congress, the Esposito, Lawler, all of them. Zeldin was there, too, and Cairo and Cox in Milwaukee, but they've got their party starting today. And it's just it's a group of horrible people. I mean, just horrible people. Clintons and Obamas and Harrises and Bidens and Emhoffs and a lot of Hollywood people are going to be there. You know, I used to like the show Seinfeld. I used to like it a lot. And I used to think Julia Louis-Dreyfus was kind of cute. I can't stand her now. She's going to be there. She's got a big part of this whole thing. John Legend, he's another one. Will you be watching any of this week from Chicago?
I don't think I could stomach any of it. I'll tell you the truth. You know, we brought business, we brought economic activity to Milwaukee when we went there. Look what they're doing. They're boarding up the businesses and they're bringing lawlessness. So reflective of their policies, right? Isn't that something? So it's not they picked Chicago as the right place for them to pick because probably crime is soaring there more than anywhere else in the country. I think it's the proper place for them to hold their convention so they can see the destruction they have caused as a party in that one city alone. Even though I think in New York we're dealing with the migrant crisis even more because we have a mayor who insists on housing these individuals in our hotels, even when they're committing crimes. They get released and they go back to the hotel that you and I are paying for. It's so outrageous, and I hope people are seeing this and just saying that they have enough. I mean, what does it take? What does it take for people to say, we have had enough? We want secure borders. We want economic prosperity. We want energy to be affordable. We want food to be affordable. What will it take for people to get to that point? That's really, I guess, the question we're all asking today.
This is the great Nicole Malliotakis. Joe Cav checks in. He's a former cop. He says the Crown Heights issues took place, the Yankel Rosenbaum murder on this day in 1991. So today is the 33-year anniversary of that. Already been 33 years. Jesus, time flies. Nicole, there's a lot of stuff going on here in New York, too, and we're getting ready for schools to come back. Columbia University, for example, a couple of weeks away, NYU. All these schools that were terrorized by terrorists last we saw. And it's been a very quiet summer, but I keep hearing from people, from cops, that they believe that these pro-Palestinians who right now are marching in the streets of Chicago outside the DNC have been planning, and they're getting ready to come back with a vengeance once school starts. I know you guys in Congress were trying to figure out ways to defund, along with Stefanik, defund some of these universities, both public and private. What is the latest? When you get back from recess, for example, what are you guys going to do to try to limit what I think is going to be a disaster come September?
Well, I think, first of all, look at what happened in New York City. They arrested these people, and then they released them. They dropped the charges. That's what Alvin Bragg did. So, of course, they're going to be coming back. Why not? There's no penalty or punishment. Now, from the federal level, we're trying to hold these universities accountable. Multiple pieces of legislation that I introduced have passed out of the Ways and Means Committee. We're hoping for a floor vote soon. But what my bills would do is penalize these universities if they have civil rights violations, right? If they are not taking care of their students and protecting them from these horrible experiences, particularly the anti-Semitism right now, right? That's the big one that's happening all over America. They need to pay a fine. And this, I think, will actually really try to get them to do something because they're concerned about these fines. And the day that we introduced this bill and said we're going to bring it for a vote in our committee, that was the day that the university president said at Columbia that she was going to put her people under leave, okay, and I think that was the first step that you saw of them trying to put some accountability. They were actually going to put these assistant executives on leave at Columbia because they had themselves participated in anti-Semitic texting. We saw the university president resign, which is something that myself, Esposito, Mike Lawler, and the speaker were at Columbia in her face telling her that she needed to do. But the thing is, we hope that they'll put somebody actually who can control the classroom and actually manage the campus. The other piece of legislation that we want to do is prevent foreign money that's coming to nonprofits to be used for this type of political activity. Right now, it's being used, and we need to put an end to it. And my legislation would do that because we have to get the transparency of it first. They need to report where this money's coming from. And then if they use it for political activity, they can lose their 501c3 status because they're not supposed to be using foreign money for political activity, as you know. That would be foreign interference. And so we have a number of other bills that would strip 501c status, perhaps. My bill with the penalties will get there if they violate the Civil Rights Act multiple times. But we are doing what we can from the federal level. But at the end of the day, it really is a local law enforcement issue. You need to arrest these people, and the universities can't tolerate it. One of the things the president told us was, well, she was hoping that they would leave. She was just hoping that they would leave. That's ridiculous. That's not leadership. That's not management. And that's not what you need to do as a university president to keep your students safe.
Agreed. On the way out, the local elections, talking about local police, are coming up. I know that Esposito in a race against Gillen, he's going to kill her. It's not even going to be close. But I know all these guys. Lawler, he's up against somebody. Nick Lolita, I believe you are too, are you not? Tell me what's going on with these local elections coming up this November.
Yeah, well, look, New York is what gave us the majority. Let's be clear about that. We can't afford to lose any one of these seats. Just like I flipped the seat in 2020 to take this seat, the only Republican seat in New York City right now. We have really critical races. As you mentioned, a few of them. Esposito's in a tight race. Mike Lawler's in a tight race. We have Brandon Williams, upstate New York's probably in the toughest race in the state. And people should go online and support these people because they are good members, and we need them to win if we're going to hold the House. You know, getting the White House and then losing the House doesn't really help us as much.
Right.
Same thing. We need to have all three, or at minimum two of the three, and we're hopeful to do that. People who want to help with the event that we did yesterday for Jim Jordan, if they want to contribute, Nicole4ny.com. And that's not just to support my campaign. I also help other members in New York State and across the country, the tight races. I help those members as well. And so hopefully that people will chip in and do what they can because this is going to be a critical year for the future of this country. If you want secure borders, if you want energy to be affordable and reliable, if you want to make sure that we have, not record high interest rates like we have right now, if you want to make sure we have safe streets, if you want to make sure we get out of these wars, right? I mean, this is the thing. These wars that we're seeing, whether it's our dear ally Israel, whether it be Ukraine, these would not be happening right now if President Trump was there. And people say, well, how do you know? Well, because it didn't. For 4 years, it didn't, because he exhibited peace through strength.
That's right.
He implemented the Abraham Accords. People were not going to mess with the U.S. because we were tough. Now we have a president and administration that clearly doesn't know what they're doing and is just portraying weakness and appeasement of our adversaries.
All true.
Iran or Venezuela.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, no, it's painful to watch. It is. Well, listen, great job yesterday with Jim Jordan. Great job, as always, on this program, Nicole. And I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again very soon. I apologize for yesterday. I was in my boxer shorts at noon, but hopefully you'll invite me again. I'll show up. Thank you so much.
Great to be with you. Thanks, Sid.
You too. Nicole Malliotakis. She's terrific. Great Congresswoman, Staten Island, Brooklyn, all of it.